But speaking of doing a bad job, people after Paris Olympics, winners of medals, both gold, silver, bronze, are posting on social media saying, "Why is my medal peeling?"
Oh.
They've just found out that they're not solid gold, silver and bronze. No jokes. But truthfully, this is incredibly embarrassing. Check this out. The place that put them together is now recalling them, which is weird because they've been making French coins and medals since the 9th century. So you'd think they'd know what they were doing by now. But no, apparently they had some new terrible laws whereby they had to spray them with some sort of chemical, which is now causing them to peel so soon after the Olympics as well. It's not even like...
These are EU regulations too. So
Yes.
this is Belgium finally getting its own back against France. So,
Oh, Belgium made them spray
you
the
laugh at
medals.
us because of our wine, and now we are going to regulate your Olympics.
I think the lesson here is they shouldn't have meddled with the process.
Oh my God.
How long did you
But
work on that?
could I also say, when you're giving medals for breakdancing, the medals are already tarnished. That's the other point on this. But
Clearly they'd kept them long enough to find out that they're peeled.
the substance that they were using to stop them from corroding was apparently toxic. But remember when Olympians would famously, they'd get their medal and they'd bite on it, right?
Yeah.
So maybe if they just weren't biting them, they could still keep using that chemical and they wouldn't have deteriorating medals.
I reckon that was an overhang from maybe the Moscow Olympics where they were going, like, is this actually real? Is this actually legit? Is it? Yeah. But,
It just goes to show, I mean, the medals weren't much better than the opening ceremony, basically.
No, that's right. And although there was an exception, I have to say, and that was amazing, the Last Supper that was meant to be Bacchus that had the weird blue fat guy.
Oh, yeah, that hugely demonic opening ceremony.
So French. But I just want to pick up on one of your last statements. The cycling team actually didn't have any of these problems with their awards. They just put the pedal to the metal.
Hilarious. I used to be really comforted by how much of a failure the Paris Olympics were, because obviously we've got the gong in 2032. So I'm like, well, if we're any better than them, that saves our bacon, right? But no, LA will have probably done a very flashy job in their new LA 2.0 smart city by then in 2028. So we really have to pick up our socks. But it's not happening. Check this out. Former Queensland Premier Annastacia Palaszczuk, you thought you'd seen the last of her, but no, she's graced people's screens again today because she wants to distance herself from the absolute burning dumpster fire that appears to be the planning or lack thereof of the Brisbane Olympics 2032. Have a listen.
When I left, we had a plan, we were sticking to the plan, and the tenders would have been out now for the GABA, and the planning and construction would have been well getting into it now. So I'm absolutely shocked at the state of this. Everything's getting unpicked. I often describe it as like if you're knitting a sweater and someone pulls a bit of wool, it's all going to come untangled, and everyone is pulling bits of wool of this sweater. And you know, if I was at the IOC at the moment, I would be saying, what is going on, Brisbane?
I've got a PR stunt, right? She's like, I know this is disastrous. It's shaping up to be terrible. So I just want everyone to know that I have nothing to do with the mess that is already unfolding. Remember this headline from yesterday where we learned, they're trying to put their budget together in Queensland, they reckon just building the athletes' village is going to cost $3.5 billion. I mean, my goodness, these guys have no idea what they're doing. But Labor has already come back to them and said, well, this isn't our fault. This isn't our fault. We
This
sorry,
is the
I'm
genius.
a lot of
So
racket in my ear
what
right
they're
now.
doing?
They said, we haven't costed this. We haven't planned it. We haven't costed it. We don't even know whether it's going to be villages, plural, or just one village. We may have it in 4 locations. So, of course, we couldn't cost it properly.
But this is the whole thing. This is exactly what she's doing, though, and she knows all this, and she is positioning herself so that when the dumpster fire inevitably happens and the Olympics is cancelled or called off, or people, don't get the bus to wherever it is they have to get to actually go to the athletics thing, that she can then say, well, I told you this in January of 2025, and conveniently shift all the blame from the fact that it was her government with her as Premier that got the Olympics in the first place and started putting all these plans in place. And the weird thing is, when did the wheels actually fall over? When did all these plans fall over? When did the wheels all fall off? Because it was her successor, Stephen Miles, who took over and started changing everything for almost 12 months after she left. But she didn't say anything during then. And then the Queensland election was just in, the end of October, beginning of November last year. So pretty much all that's happened since then is the summer holidays. And somehow over Christmas, the entire kind of 12-year Olympic dream has just completely and utterly collapsed. And this is when she's chosen her sort of moment, her the eye of the needle for her surgical strike. So it's very, very, very clever politics, but I'm not quite sure I'm buying it.